All right. Hello and welcome to Just Animals podcast. I'm Elle, and with me today, as always, is my dad, aka Guy.
Good morning, Pod World. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that it might sound like I have gravelly voice, but I woke up with a sore throat. But I'll do the best I can.
Okay. All right. Keep your COVID over there. And then with us, we have a very special guest today. We have Wong all the way from Malaysia with us right now. Is it Bornean Sun? Did I say Bornean right? I'm sure my Americanness is butchering it. Okay. From the
Yeah,
Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center, the founder and CEO. We are so excited to have him. Before we get into Wong and his amazing center and all these great sun bears, we just want to give a quick shout out to Ria from Japan. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. Please, keep listening, supporting us. We can't thank you enough. So back to Wong. So for our listeners that don't know, and that we will link the website for his center into the description of this episode. For listeners that don't know, give us a brief background of who you are and your conservation center.
Okay, I am Siu Wong. Wong is actually my last name, and then but I go by my last name. In Malaysia, there's a lot of Chinese guy with the last name or surname Wong.
Sure.
But for me, it's okay. When I was in the States, everybody called me Wong. It is a lot more easy to pronounce my Wong
Right.
compared to my first name, Siu
Sure.
which is a little bit of tongue twister. Anyway, I'm a wildlife biologist and a tropical forest ecologist, and I'm originated in Malaysia, from Malaysia, but I did my undergraduate, my master, my PhD all in Missoula, Montana, United States.
Which is so crazy to me.
Montana.
I
Wow.
know. That's a big change
Yes.
from Malaysia. Do you guys get snow in
Absolutely.
Malaysia?
Absolutely no.
No, I didn't think
It's
so.
tropic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm also the founder and the chief executive officer of the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center, which I founded in 2008.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's so great. So I just love how we get this tropical guy in middle of nowhere, Montana, where it's freezing during the winters. I'm sure you learned very quickly.
Very.
was your
Was that?
first winter an adjustment for you? Was that kind of scary?
Oh yeah. Not only the cultural shock in my first year back
Yeah.
in
Oh,
1990,
Oh, I'll bet.
yeah.
environment, simple thing like we greet each other when we were walking on the street, or the bus driver would wish you have a good day or something, or greet you. It is amazing. It is not happening here, and let alone the weather, the climates, the snow, the
Yeah.
blizzard. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, even for us, we're obviously a United States based show. I mean, even for us to go to Montana would be culture shock for us, just from one state to another. So I can't imagine being from Malaysia and going to Montana. All right. So there's sun bear. It's Halarctos malayanus. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Hilatus Malayanus.
Malayanus, I'm so sorry. Excuse my American ignorance. So it's the Greek words Helios meaning sun and Arctus meaning bear. So I was reading online that they are also known as honey bears, Malay bear, and dog-faced bear. Do I have all that correct?
Dog bear, not
Oh,
face.
dog bear.
Yeah, just
Okay.
dog bear. Yeah, because they
Dog
bark
bear.
like a dog, and then
Oh,
they're
they
small size, resemble a Rottweiler. Yeah, they actually bark like a dog. Really, really bark like bark like a dog.
Oh, so they're Rottweilers. So maybe if you can we can sneak a sun bear in here. Not that we would, but if we were bad people, sneak it in. This is my Rottweiler. It's like, oh, that looks a lot like a bear. Well, Rottweilers actually look like baby bears, so that's perfect. So they're
Yeah.
the smallest bears in the bear family. They've got these great flat heads, small rounded ears with an entirely black body, except for the U crescent shaped patch of cream, white, and yellow or light orange on their chest. So I know you've worked with these bears, and this might be a weird question. What do they feel like? Like, what's their fur feel like?
Okay, when they are small, I mean the bear cubs, the fur is very soft and very
Sure.
velvety, because the fur is very very dense. It's like, I'm not sure whether you have touched a rabbit breeds called Rex, very
Okay.
dense,
Yes,
short, soft.
Sure.
And then when they got bigger, their fur touch feel like short breed dogs, like a Rottweiler,
Okay.
like a Doberman
Right.
Pinscher. Yeah,
Right.
and
Oh, no
then their
kidding.
fur, they only have like one type of coat, which is the outer coat, and no the undercoat where they it used to keep them warm. Most bear species, black bears, grizzly bears, they all have like two different types of
Right. They have
fur.
the undercoat, they have the guard hairs. Right.
Yeah. So for sun bear, only gut hair, dense
Oh,
gut
okay.
hair acts like a raincoat to
Okay,
resist
sure.
repel rains. Yeah.
Right, right. I'm sure there's plenty of rain. Well, that's kind of like the kinkajou. I mean, they're a tropical animal, and same thing. They just have these. You'd think like the thick coat, or well, thick-ish would be a disadvantage, but it actually helps like keep the water off their skin and keeps them dry and whatnot.
Yes.
That's
Yes, and also
fantastic.
very waxy and oily as well. If
Right.
you.
So it just kind of falls off.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. That's so cool. So females are about 120 centimeters or 47.2 inches in length, and males are about 150 centimeters or 60 inches in length. And they can weigh anywhere from 27 to 65 kg or 59 to 143, 150 pounds. So how big is the biggest bear at your center? And then how small is the smallest bear at your center?
Okay. Before I answer that questions, I have
Sure.
to tell you that there are two different subspecies of sun bear.
Oh,
The
yes, please educate
Hylarctus
us.
malayanus found in Asia mainland and Sumatra, and
Okay.
Hylarctus malayanus eurispilus is Bornean sun bear. And the difference between the two subspecies are the size. Okay, the Bornean
Oh,
sun
okay.
bear is only half the size of the mainland sun bear.
Oh, so they're
So
teeny teeny.
yeah, they're teeny teeny. They're literally the Bornean sun bear is literally the smallest among the smallest bear. So say for example
Oh,
in Borneo, a full-grown adult male in the wild is about 45 to 50 kilograms. So it's about 100
oh,
pounds or 110
right.
pounds or so. And
Wow, that's it?
female, yeah, it's about 35 kilograms, about 70 pounds or so. But
Wow.
the one in Asia mainland is double their body weight.
Okay.
So a mainland sun bear or the Malayan sun bear, a full-grown adult male can reach about 80 or to 100 kilograms.
Oh, wow.
So that's the two,
Okay, that's a big
subspecies
size
body size.
difference.
Yes, big size different. Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's a
sorry,
really
what is
big
your
size difference.
what is your question? Or the question is what is the biggest bear in our center?
Yes, biggest and smallest.
Okay, so the biggest, I think the heaviest right now we have is about 55 or 52 kilograms.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's I think who would be
120-ish pounds.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that would be 10 years old, 12 years old male bear. In
Okay.
his literally in his prime.
Right.
Or at the end of his prime. Yeah,
Right.
and the smallest, of course, is our Luna, is our newborn baby, or
Oh,
5 months old now. She
oh
was
my
captive
gosh.
born last May 20th. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So
Oh,
we have a wide range of ages, and
absolutely
then
right.
yes, and then the oldest bear that the oldest bear that we have over at our center is Marco. He is 28 years old.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
So
yeah,
Wow.
Wong, I have a question for you because I'm looking at
So they
uh
are really the size of
sun.
Rottweilers,
This is your
is what
Borean
I'm
Sun
hearing.
Bear Conservation Center. That's you,
Yep, that's him.
BSBCC.
yeah. That is correct.
These tongues are phenomenal.
Yes, we're going to get
Yes,
to that.
yes,
Yeah.
phenomenal. And do you know how long it's long?
Tell me.
Yeah, about 30 centimeters, 28 centimeter. There was one time I measured one of our
That's 10
bears.
inches, guys. Sorry, Wong, but for
Well,
us
yeah, 10
Americans that aren't
inches,
metric, that's about 10 inches, guys, which
almost
is
almost 12
insane.
inches, almost 1 feet
12
long.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's like a chameleon. Oh, you know what a chameleon is, right? Where they
Of course he
Yes.
knows what a chameleon is. He's a
I
wildlife biologist.
I know, but maybe he's but
We don't
Yes.
have chameleons in Montana, that's for sure.
so with respect to their small size, but in terms of bear tongues relative to their body, is it the
That's
Yes.
longest?
The
Okay,
longest compared to other 7 species of bears. Yeah.
I feel like even
And
most
then
animals.
yes, and then I mean, long tongue. There's a reason for being a long tongue.
Mm,
Their tongue is like a tool. A tool.
okay.
They are not only long but also very sticky. They can stick
So like
out like.
anteater kind of tongues?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's like because in the wild they eat ants, they eat termite and other minuscule food items, and also use their tongue to lick up like honey. Sun bears is called honey bears in Malay, beruang madu, because they really love honey. Yeah,
Oh, I
and then
love
there is
that.
also a good reason behind this. And then the tongue is also serve another function, just like dog. In the hot tropical weather, when they pant, pen and
Right.
salivations to get rid of excessive body heat. So they
Right.
need the tongue. So it's an adaptation for this kind of
Oh,
climates and also
sure.
for their feeding behaviors.
Wow. I mean, that explains. I mean, between eating and then evaporation, yeah, more surface area, the cooler you'll be. That's wow. So,
Mm.
just back to their lifespan. On average, what I got was that they live to be about 24, and obviously in captivity, when they can live a little bit longer. Um,
Yeah,
and then, like you were saying too, as for where they're located, like widespread forests of Southeast Asia, but of course they've unfortunately disappeared from their historical geographic range, and they can be found on the island of Borneo, Sumatra, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. So, and they prefer habitats in lowland rainforests and can be found in montane forests and swamp habitats. So at your center, I mean, just based off like what I was looking at, yours looks, I mean, very realistic to what they would have in the wild. How did you guys go about doing that? Either creating or finding the perfect spot to have them be in their
yeah,
as natural environment as possible.
yeah. So our center actually, we are very lucky. We are very lucky that we are able to set up our center in a lowland tropical rainforest.
Oh, that's
So our
great.
forest, our center, our forest enclosure is actually within the Sepilok Kabili Forest Reserve. It is a
Okay.
lowland dipteral carp forest and in a primary stage. Okay,
Okay.
that has almost primary stage. The reason why I call it almost primary is because um, more than 80 years ago, there was a selective logging happened to
Of
just log
course.
for the specific ironwood. But the rest
Of
of the
course.
deep terracotta, all the big giant trees are still there. So
Wow.
so
That's
so it's
great.
just like a primary forest with all the giants. At our
Right.
forest, at the forest reserve where our center is based, the average canopy height is 50 meters tall.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 meters tall, and then the tallest tree at our forest reserve is 76 meters tall, just slightly shorter than the statue of almost the same height as the Statue of Liberty.
Wow. And
Yeah,
that's great
so
that it's like world that's primary, not secondary growth. That's fantastic.
yeah, so we are very very fortunate because this kind of forest is very rare nowadays
Oh, of course. I mean, all over the world. I mean, as you
all over
know,
the world.
logging, deforestation, primary growth forest is very hard to come by. That's fantastic.
Absolutely, and then imagine that all of the big tree, there has to be hardwood in order
Right.
to grow that big. Hardwood, of
Right.
course, nowadays is so valuable. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why they are so rare already. Yeah. So we are
Absolutely.
very
And
fortunate to have, this piece of land, and then we are able to build our center in a tropical, in a natural, almost primary tropical rainforest. Yeah.
that's fantastic. And guys, by the way, 50 meters is about 165 feet, just for
Wong,
anyone
I
that
have a
doesn't want to be
question.
Yes.
hurt.
Are these bears bipeds or do they walk on a quadruped?
They are quadruped, but they also can like stand up and walk, you know,
On
biped
two?
for a
Yeah.
few
They can
steps.
walk on back feet.
Yeah. And then especially mother, you'll be amazed that a mother with cub, the mother is literally holding the cub by her hand and then walk. I've seen a few times. My goosebump all stand up. It is so
Right.
human
Like,
like.
oh,
No
right.
kidding.
It's got to be kind of alarming at first. Like,
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm
that's
I'm reading
a
here
human.
about Sue,
Wait,
who
hold on.
I
Before we get to Sue, what do you
okay.
feed them at the center, or since you are in essentially their natural habitat? Well, you are in their natural habitat. Do they fend for themselves, or do you have like any supplemental things? And then, what are their favorite treats?
Yeah, both actually. We do. They do.
Okay,
First of all, because this is a natural forest, they
right,
do get like ants, termites, beetles,
sure,
beetle larvae, earthworms, and then and this kind of invertebrates come and go. And once in a while, they also can get hold of Asian box tortoises as well. The tortoise that slow moving meat that
right.
moving around. Yeah, they get that and they eat that as well. And then sometimes when the trees in the forest fruited, they also harvest the fruits from the natural enclosures as well. And then in terms of but because the density of the bears that we have are so high compared to a natural forest where
Right.
bears density is very low. So we
Right.
have to uh, give them extra food with
Sure.
all the fruits and vegetables that we can get in local market. So a
Right.
wide variety of fruits, vegetables, tubers like sweet potato, pumpkin, um,
Hmm.
sugarcane, and then plus
Sure.
banana, papaya,
Bananas.
pineapple, you name it. Yeah, and then we also supplement with some chicken meat as well, eggs,
Sure.
dog food, honey as a treat,
Sure.
or treat when we do training. So a wide variety of food items has been offered to them. Yeah, to keep them
That's
healthy.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
So,
Yeah, get all their
so
vitamins,
do
nutrients, minerals.
how many? What do you? I don't know if you call them residents or what do you call them? How many bears do you have at the center right now?
Yeah, currently we have 44 bears, and then 43 of them are rescued bear, and then one Luna who was captive born last May. And then
Oh,
in short, I'm running an orphanage because
yeah, you
all of these rescue bear, all of their mom has been killed by poachers. So poachers, in order to capture a baby sun bear, they have to kill the mother because the mother will
right, the
die.
mom's not gonna no, yeah, the
Yes.
mom will
Yes,
will
of course.
like
Yeah. So
any
if you
animal will
think,
die
yeah,
for
if
their
you think
baby.
about this, it is quite sad. So I am literally running an orphanage of sun bears, and then we raise them up, and then for those bears that can have the chance to go back into the wild, we releasing them and do a lot of education work, do a lot of welfare work, anything that it takes first to make this rescue or captive bear happy,
Right,
got a good life, and
right,
as well as trying to benefit the population in the wild as well.
right.
So do
That's
these
fantastic.
do all 44 of your bears hang out together, or are they in separate
Yeah, so
pods?
you were saying that like, and I got that naturally and then like out in the wild, they're like pretty, solitary, but obviously, you're running your orphan your sun bear orphanage. And does that lead to any conflict with them when they're I guess kind of they're don't have their allocated space, not allocated space, but their general like this is my square area of my area, you stay in your area
Yeah,
type of
so
thing.
first of all, you need to understand their behavior in the wild. In the wild, they
Sure.
are solitary, and the
Right.
reason why they are solitary is because there's not enough food to feed many mouths at one time.
Sure.
Same reason why orangutans is the solitary great apes, because the forests do
Oh,
not have a
that's
lot of
right.
fruits, do not have a lot of
Right.
food to feed many mouths at one time. So in the
Sure.
wild, they compete with each other. So food
Right.
is always the reason for competition.
Right.
However, in our center, we don't have enough space to, give each of
Right.
the bear a big space. So they
Right.
have no choice but to like share a
Right.
certain area with other bears. As
Right.
long as we see them, as long as we feed them with sufficient food, there's
Right.
no reason to compete as per
Right.
food per se. But once in a while, a little
Right.
quarrel will
Of
still
course.
break up
Of course.
when feedings, when
Right.
especially coconut days is always a quarrel day because there are some bears that have a better skill to open up a coconut, and some other bears would have less skill to open up a coconut,
Right.
and they steal from the other one. Of course,
Right. Of course.
the one
Yeah.
that
No, it's like you're
spent
not
a lot
eating
of
this.
effort open up a coconut will be pissed.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of incident will happen. But in
Right.
general, we in total we our center have 10 different forest pens. Each pen
Okay.
is a forest enclosed forest, and
Right.
then each pen has a group of bears, maybe from 2, 3 to 4, all live together, and we see them. They can mix well together, and then
Mm-hmm.
we do integrations before we mix them and make sure that everybody in that group can be mixed. I'll get
Right.
along well with
Copacetic.
each other,
Right.
not trying to kill each other. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Wong,
Of
is
course.
your organization supported by the government at all? Any support from the?
Yes, partially supported by the government, not all.
Good.
So we still do a lot
Right.
of fundraising
Of course. Of course.
to first establish the center,
Right.
second run the center. So and then so in terms of operational costs, we all raise our own fund, and then the government support in terms of land. and
Hmm.
then some buildings, facility support from the governments. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
So
do you
back to
do any
mhm.
kind of ecotourism at your location there?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes. Actually, our there are five pillars that we are running right now for our center, which is our mission statements sound something like this: Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center aims to conserve sun bear through holistic approach that incorporates improved animal welfare, education, research, rehabilitation, and ecotourism. So after we built the center and then open up to the public on 2014, then our ecotourism pillar start to kick out because it is so important. Yeah, one of the products of our conservation work is promote ecotourisms, and ecotourism pay for conservations, and even better, ecotourism pay for everything else.
Right.
It creates
And you
jobs
educate
for local
people.
people and educate people, and then
Right.
it makes the standing forest has a commercial value that you do not need to lock it.
Right. Right.
It makes
Absolutely.
the
Right.
wildlife has a money value that
Monetary.
you
Right.
do not
Monetary value now. It's worth
monetary
keeping
value
around.
that you do not need to like kill it or sell it or whatever.
Right.
So that ecotourism part is extremely important. I think it's a key for lots of successful conservation project, not only for us but
Absolutely.
for worldwide. Across the world,
Absolutely.
we see so many projects in Africa, in South America, in Australia. All because of tourist money pumping in, and
Hmm.
then makes the conservation work on the ground possible.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, there's nothing people love more than seeing animals in their natural
Do
habitat, like
do
people that
you
like animals. So,
so
Yeah.
your visitors, are they mostly Malaysian, or you get where you're
No, we
from?
got we got about 60% are foreign tourists, and then 40% are local Malaysian. And then
that's
of
awesome.
course that is before this pandemic.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Then of course after the pandemic started last March, uh, everything's changed. Our center has been
Right.
closed, and then we lost all the revenues generated from ticketing from tourism, and then we just reopened to the public just last week. Yeah,
Oh,
about
good.
about 10 days now. Yeah.
Good. Good. Well,
Do
I'm glad you guys are open
are sun
again.
bears excuse me, susceptible to COVID, or because apes are and other animals are?
Yeah, I think we do not know. So far, there hasn't been any reports that Ursid, the bear family, can
Hmm.
pick up COVID. There's some reports that house cats, big cats are susceptible to COVID. And then great apes, ape primates, definitely,
Oh,
yes.
of course. Yeah, we're so
But bears,
similar.
we do
So,
not know. We're still learning.
right.
So
Absolutely.
are you is your organization monitoring wild sun bears as well as the ones that you have in your orphanage?
Yes. So we do have research project in the wild run by master students, PhD students, and then and then the plan is to keep on continue our research work on sun bears both at the center and also in the wild as well.
Are you using any tracking devices for wild bears?
Yep. So my work started some 23 years ago by trapping wild sun bears and study their ecology.
Yes.
So yes, and then I spent 4 summers trapping bears, grizzly bears, and American black bear in Montana, and
Oh boy.
get myself ready to do research work with the sun bears in Malaysia. Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
I have a question for you. This is something I have been thinking about. How did you wind up from Malaysia into Montana? Can you give us the short answer to
I
that?
mean, they both start with M, so there is that.
Right. Yeah, they both start with M.
Okay. Well, that's a long story. If you
Go
want to
for
know
it.
Give
the whole
give
story,
us
Yeah,
you
go for it.
the
you
short
read you
version.
need to read my book. You
Yeah, read
need
his.
to read my
Oh,
biography
well, we'll
book.
get the book.
Okay.
We'll
Anyway,
get that
the
too.
shorter version is I where should I went to United States to do my undergraduate degree in wildlife biology, and then of course before that I must love animal. I must want to work with
Yeah, did
wildlife
you?
and so on. During that time, yes, actually I my ambition since I was like 7 years old, grade one, is to become an animal expert or
That's
veterinarian.
awesome.
And
That's
then I went to
fantastic.
Taiwan to do a diploma on a veterinary and animal science. And at that time, there was like 1998, no, 1989. Yeah, and I start to know about wildlife, and then feel like, oh, actually wildlife is something that I really want, not veterinary, because veterinary at the times all focus on livestocks, all the animals in livestock industry end up dead, all right, end up being eaten, and then they all produce in a very inhumane way. This is not what I want. So
Right.
after I learned about wildlife managements, wildlife conservations, then I feel like, hey, this is really what I want. So I went to the States, and then Montana. Actually, I applied uh, a few other university, and then University of Montana accepted me, and also University of Montana appeared to be the cheapest in terms of tuition fees. Montana out
especially
of
during the winter.
nowhere. Yeah, so I got accepted, and to be honest, they have great wildlife program over there. And then during the
Yeah.
first year, I met Professor Chris Savine, who was at the time looking for a Malaysian student to do a study on sun bear, and he was at the time the co-chair of the IUCN Bear Specialist Group. And
No
at the
kidding.
time, no one ever studied sun bear. We do not know anything about sun bear, and he was looking for a Malaysian, waiting or literally looking and waiting for Malaysian students to do a study on sun bear, because if you were to offer that opportunity to American student, I'm sure there is like more than a dozens or more want to be the students. But usually the American students, after they study in one place and then they go back and left nothing behind. If he can get a Malaysian student who will then stay in their home country and continue working with the sun bear, it will be perfect. And he met me, and we clicked. And then after several years in 1998, I get to the graduate program, started my master degree, and working on the ecology of sun bears as my master project, thesis project. So
So you started the center?
Yes,
I
yes,
started
he's the
center.
founder.
Yes,
He's
yes,
the
yeah,
founder. He
Okay.
started it.
I'm the
So
founder.
He's
when
the
you
guy.
started the center, uh, was the government, Malaysian government, um,
Were they on
anxious to
board?
talk to you? Were they or happy to see you and talk to you about this, or were they saying, go do this by yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the center is based in Sabah State. So at the time, it was 10 years after I started my master project. I started my master project in 1998, and then I started the Sun Bear Conservation Center in 2008. So I have a good relationship with the Sabah Wildlife Department, with the Forestry Department. So the government is very supportive of this idea. And then, so when I proposed, they said, "Hey, Wong, why not? Let's work together and make this happen." And then, and granted me, the opportunity to work with sun bears. The sun bear problem is my problem, they said. So I said, yeah, I'm happy to.
Thank you.
Because at the time, seriously, there is not many people. I mean, not there's no people interested on sun bear conservation or sun bear study or sun bear management or whatever. And then there's no resources as well. Imagine that this is a developing country,
Right.
the resources are extremely limited. And then in terms of wildlife conservations, they all concentrated on this conservation interest species: the tiger, the
Right.
rhino, the orangutan, the
Right.
elephant.
Yeah,
And
you got
not
a lot of
sun bear.
competition.
Sun bear is literally a forgotten bear. They has
Right.
been literally neglected for
Right.
so many years. And then, so when I first went to Montana, my heart was so uneven, because Montanans, Americans, love bears.
We
Everything is
do.
grizzly this and grizzly that. At
I mean, it's
University
on
of
our state
Montana
flag.
is Montana Grizzly. Our mascot is Montana Grizzly. Our football team is Montana Grizzlies.
Oh
There's
yeah, a lot of
Grizzly
bears.
Auto, Grizzly Restaurant, and everything is
Hmm.
about bears.
Black Bear Diner. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Well,
that's
even
the
So
the Forest Service uses a bear, Smokey the bear.
right, yeah, Smokey the
Yes,
Bear. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's so
The
interesting.
bears, you know.
We do love bears. I mean, it's on the California state flag and then you've got Cal Golden Bears. So I was reading that they're the most arboreal of all bears. So I'm assuming your bears love to spend time up in the trees. Now, do all of your bears climb, or are some more ground dwellers due to, maybe injury that they've had, or, just unfortunately they grew up in a small cage or something?
Yes, actually, we do see these trends. Those bears that we rescue as an adult, who has
Hmm.
been like spending years and years in small cages, those are
Hmm.
the so-called non-climbers. They
Oh,
hesitate to climb. They do not want to climb.
sure, of
However,
course.
the one that we rescue as a young cubs, and
Right,
then the little one, once they know that they can climb, they
right,
just shoot up the trees, and
right,
then they can explore the entire horizon up on the forest canopy.
right,
And then the wild bears also do the same thing as well, because they really need to be they really need to be arboreal to
right.
survive
It's probably
in
safest.
rainforest. Yeah,
Sure.
because just simple thing, sleeping. They
Right,
have to sleep with a dry body, and in the
right,
rainforest, where is the dry spot in the forest? It's up on a tree, not on the
right,
forest ground. Yeah.
right.
And
Of
then
course.
also in the rainforest, the blood sucking leeches is horrible. It's aggressive and horrible. So if you any warm blooded animal stay
It's still long
still on
enough.
the forest floor, the leeches would
Game
like
over.
all come to get your blood. And then so the only
Really?
place to escape from blood sucking leeches is up on a tree. And then
Oh
in
my!
area where they are sympatric with tigers, across
Oh
Southeast Asia,
yeah.
across mainland Asia and Sumatra, tigers are known to prey on the sun bear. So the only
Sure.
safe place to sleep without being eaten or killed by a tiger is up on a tree.
Oh,
So
and so I was reading too that they make their nests. So the ones on the ground, will they make a
yes,
ground nest for
yeah.
themselves?
So on the ground,
Okay.
usually it's on the very hot day. They would like try to find a cool spot, and then stay on the ground. And then the
Right.
one on the tree, sometimes they make tree nests, just like the
Okay.
orangutans make a tree nest. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Wong, I just did a little bit of research here. Your latitude is about 6 degrees
Ooh.
north. It's hot.
It's hot.
So
It's
All the
just
time.
right on top of the equators.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
what are your seasons? Are there any
Is it
seasons
just
in?
rainy and
There's
dry
no
season?
seasonality. There's no seasonality. So from January until December, we go out with short sleeve t-shirt. We come back at nighttime with short sleeve t-shirt. The temperature is relatively constant. There's
Right.
no seasonality. There's no
Is
summer.
it?
It's always summer. Always hot, humid summer. Period.
But is it? Do you have a wet season, monsoon, and a dry
Yeah,
season?
we do, but the forest of Borneo, Sumatra, and West Malaysia is something that we call evergreen
Mm-hmm.
rainforest. All right, evergreens means it remains green all year round. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it means that it is warm and always have rain, and then but in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some part do have the effects of monsoon. They do have the monsoon rain.
Right.
Some place more affected more than the other. But at any month of the year, here in Borneo, Sumatra, and West Malaysia, we always have rains. Yeah, so to speak. Yeah, and then we have wet month and then dry month. But the dry months still have rains. Which
How
is
far
Right.
are you from Brunei?
very close. We are on the same islands of
Yes.
Borneo.
Right.
Yeah. How
Okay.
far from me over here? I think what straight line distance. I don't know, maybe like for maybe like 600 or 700 kilometers.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're on the coast. What is more inland, like in the central part? It says Borneo, but what's going on in the inland of Malaysia there?
Okay, so Borneo is actually shared by three different countries.
Oh,
Oh wow.
really?
Okay.
Yeah, so there are two Malaysian states, Sabah and Sarawak,
Okay.
that is belongs to Malaysia. And then in between Sabah and Sarawak, you have the Brunei, where you mentioned, and then the southern part of Borneo is belongs to Indonesia. It's the provinces of
Oh.
Kalimantan.
So these are
Okay.
separate governments.
Separate government, three different governments. Yeah,
Wow.
Holy mackerel! Do
yeah.
they
That's got to
do they
be a
get
little
along,
confusing.
Oh
or
yeah,
I
they get
mean,
along well. Yes, get along
I mean,
well.
you kind of have to. You kind of don't really have a choice.
Yeah. So we choose not to fight. We choose to become
Right.
friends.
Just It just got to makes things easier. So I know that they're most active at night in the wild. I'm sure, obviously, being at a center, are they more diurnal at the center, or do they
No,
sleep all day?
actually, in the wild, a lot of the informations that you get from internet,
Yeah,
I'm not sure who wrote it. They never study sunbear. I did. I worked with
right,
sunbear for the last 23 years. I don't
right.
think
So I'm
anybody
sure you know. That's why I'm
can
like,
have a
is
longer
this right?
history.
Right.
So
No,
what
and you
happened
are the
was that
sun bear guy.
about their activity patterns in the forest where there's little or no humans activity, they are
Right,
diurnal. Active during the
right,
daytime and they go to sleep at nighttime.
right.
Only the bears that live in the forest with a lot of human activities,
Sure, sure,
in order to avoid humans to stay alive, they switch their activities daytime, go to sleep, active at night in order to avoid humans because
sure.
all humans are bad humans. Okay,
That's true.
Correct.
No, there's
cannot
quite a
live
few
in the
animals.
forest.
Right. No,
Poachers.
right, and there's a few animals that we've come across that have adapted to that. Like if it's a high human population density, they are on the opposite schedule. If they're more remote,
Yes,
they're
yeah.
So,
daytime
This is
Wong,
animals.
this is how they are still alive.
Of
Period.
course. Well, yeah,
Those bears
absolutely.
that
does
do not switch, they will end up dead.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
does the
know,
That's
Malaysian
right.
from
government
poachers.
have well, we call them a park ranger. I don't know what you would call them, wildlife conservation people to anti-poaching. You know that they will arrest people for poaching.
Yes. Well, first of all, in Malaysia, there are wildlife law. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
Hmm.
there are wildlife law. But in terms of ranger, I would say we
Like
can have
patrolling.
more ranger.
Right. You
We
could have more
need
people out
more
patrolling.
ranger.
well, it's
In
a
the
big
forest
territory.
patrolling. So,
Yeah.
so this ranger idea is actually not very popular until lately, especially in West Malaysia.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is something that we need to work really hard because nowadays,
Sure.
well, in the past, you don't have to keep people away from the forest because there's no people in the forest. But
Right.
nowadays things are different,
Right.
because wildlife products fetch a very high price in the international
Right.
or black market, and the gap between the rich and the poor are so great. The
Yes.
rich are so rich they are willing to pay a lot of good money for wildlife product. Sunbag gallbladder, sunbag
Right.
claws, tiger
Right.
bones, tiger
Right.
pearl, tiger meat, and
Right.
that kind of
So
thing.
let
Teeth.
me
Yeah.
interrupt you for 1 second. Is there
Yes.
any scientific basis for
No.
this sun bear bile, or is this just mythology?
No, there is a scientific base about the sunbear bowl. The active ingredient is called ursodeoxycholic acid. Yeah, and it is a very good muscle relaxant. It is a very good anti-inflammatory agent. But the Western medicines are so
Right. We
easy
have
to
kind of a synthetic
obtain.
made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't they
To
There's
be
got
buy.
to be a synthetic version
right?
now.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, yeah, it's an anti-inflammatory agent. What does that mean? That is an antibiotic. You just eat your
Right.
antibiotic and you get the same results. you
Right.
know yeah. But for people who live in a very rural situations, it's
Right.
very hard
Right.
for the American audience to know what rurals means that they don't have any access of modern or Western medicines, and then they live in a
Oh, we
very
have people like that
remote
here too.
area, and then those traditional knowledge that pass on from like great
Right.
great great granddaddy, grandparents, is always works, and then the belief is actually quite deep rooted.
Right.
So, but
So
again, it is
yeah,
illegal. Yeah.
Of
yeah.
course. Of
Now
course.
these bears, um, let's speak about the ones that you have at the orphanage. How do they interact with humans? Do they bond with humans? Are they afraid of humans? I mean, you're feeding them and they see you. So tell me about their human
The relationship,
interaction.
your
Yeah,
relationship with
relationship.
them.
Yeah. Okay. So for us, because all of these bears are all pets bear.
Right.
So they have, and then all of them will obtain since little.
Right.
There's no way that you can keep a wild caught adult bears. No way. It is so aggressive. They will fight. They will chew the trap, and they will escape. So all of
Right.
our bears are raised up since little, and they accept human presence. And then
Right.
for our center, those bears that we rescue as a baby, we have to bond with them because they needs a mother. In the
Right.
wild, they have the mother to nurse them,
Right.
milk, give them milk, give them food, protect them, and then train them, and then literally, teach them all the survival
Right.
skill.
Teach them
And
how to
then
be a bear.
yes, for us, we need to do the surrogate mother's job. So
Right. Right.
the cubs born with our keeper, but not all keepers are born. We only have like certain keepers who are
Right.
working with bear cubs. For
Right.
example, for me, I raised a few of the bear cubs that we rescue, and they born with me until now. Yeah,
Right.
and then so our bears growing up, looking at, have close contact with people, but they identify those particular individual humans. Not all.
Right.
If they seen a stranger, they will freak out.
Right.
They'll get
Oh.
panicked. They will get
Right.
stressed and they'll run away.
Oh.
But when they see us as a
Right.
keepers, every day we get them for, that
Right.
relationship is still there.
You're,
They see
And
you're
mom.
the
then,
mom. You're the
Yeah.
mom.
They
yeah,
see
and
mom. Then it's okay.
especially those bear that we raise, that a particular bear keeper raised, they bond with them because they need, we need to bond with them because what
Of
we
course.
see is that when cubs comes in, for all infant mammal, we all needs mom. Period. Okay,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
because they are orphaned, and then so the first thing that we want to do is to bond with them, and once the bonding established, they trust us, their stress level reduced, they
Right.
eat more,
Right.
they grow fast and grow healthy.
Right.
But they are not like going to call any humans as mama
No.
or papa.
No.
No, no,
Right.
no, that is not the
Right.
case.
I don't know you. Please get away from me.
Yes.
So, so I know that they communicate. You said that they bark like that. I mean, I met some bears will for always forever now be just the Rottweiler of the bear for me. But if you think about it again, like Rottweiler puppies look like little bear cubs. But so I know that you said that they bark, and I know that they grunt and roar. What is their most common way of communicating? And will you, when they see you or their surrogate mom, will they like make any like squeak or anything? Like when the dogs will kind of wag their butt or kind of talk to you or whatever. Do they do anything like that when they see their
Yeah, okay.
keeper?
So when they are happy, when they are good mood, they are total silent. Only
Really?
a lots of body language, a lots of
Okay.
so say for example they initiate play.
Right.
You want to initiate play, they will like go back and then push you, and then
Right,
they
right. Could
initiate
try to
play,
engage you, like, come on,
and
come on,
then
come on.
yes, and then sometimes play is actually quite rough.
I'm sure, well,
However,
I would imagine so.
when they are grouchy,
Right.
when they are
In a
angry,
mood. Right.
say for example, if a play fight end up having sound, means that play fight turns sour into
Right.
a
Yeah.
real fight. Yeah.
Right. We're
So
not
that's
playing anymore. No, no, no.
yeah. So all of the vocalization that I mean by the sun bears are all associated with the negative side of it.
It's like a distress kind of
Anger,
sound.
distress, yes, or want something. If they want something and they cannot get it, they'll like,
Right. Like, oh,
like
help
that.
me.
Do you
Yeah.
how many have you returned bears to the wild? And if
So
so, how
far,
do you? Not so far.
no, so far 10 bears. 10 bear has
That's
been
Okay.
great.
released back into the
And
wild.
how what are the milestones? How do you know when the bear is ready to go back out?
Okay, so from years of study bears biology, we know that they reach. I mean, the mom wean off when the cubs are fully grown at the age of 4 years old, 3 to 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That long.
so very long compared to American black bears or grizzly bears. And
Right.
then the reason why is because moms have to protect that cub until they are capable of defending themselves if they bump into other adult bears, because
Right.
they live in the bear kills bears world. All
Right.
right, so the mom rather allow the cubs to be with her until they are fully grown, yeah, and then until they can defend for themselves. Because if a subadult, bears that leave the mom without mom's protection, if they bump into other bears, they might get killed. And then
Right.
it is extremely costly for the mom to raise the cub.
Right.
Yeah, because in her lifetime, if she can produce 3 to 4 cubs in her lifetime, that is considered as very productive.
Really? Yeah. So tell
Yeah.
us more about the reproduction of sun bears and how that works. if
yeah,
you don't
so
mind.
they reach sexual maturity at the age of 4,
Okay.
and then the female will come to estrus, and then when during that time she will attract the male in her
Mm-hmm.
territory. So
Mm-hmm.
the male would tag along the female until she is receptive, means she's ovulating. So
Right.
that little window is only lasting maybe like 24 hours,
Oh,
and then at that 24-hour cycle she want to be made. She's like ovulating. I said, oh, they know that they're ovulating. They want they want she want the eggs to be fertilized effectively. And then
right.
after that, after mating few times, I'm sure fertilization occur. Then
Mm-hmm.
the male would be chased by the female, and
Right. Go away.
then go away. And then gestation period lasted for 93 days. And then at the end of the gestation period, she would find a den. Typically, it's a hollow tree trunk that was like
Mm-hmm.
fall on the forest floor. This
Sure.
tree trunk is like big tree trunk, you
Right.
know, 50 meters tall, fall naturally because of die from like
Right.
decay. And then in the middle is a hollow, and then this kind of den is a perfect den because it's relatively safe, secure from other animals, and
Right.
then it is relatively dry from this pouring tropical rain every afternoon, and also
Sure.
relatively warm during the nighttime rain, and then relatively cool in the hot tropical sun. So that
Mm-hmm.
kind of dance is a perfect place to give birth,
Mm-hmm.
nurse, and then
Right.
after maybe close to 2 months, when the cubs gain mobility, then they will come out. The cubs will tag along the mom, and then
Mm-hmm.
for the next 3 years, 4 years, until the cubs become independent, wean from the moms, and then
Right.
depart from moms. Yeah, and
Right.
then so the mom would come to estrus again after she wean.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, a female would needs to take like 3 to 4 years to nurse a cub,
Right.
and then during that time she won't, when she's lactating, she won't come to estrus. It means that
Right.
she won't get into pregnant again until her cub wean off, leave mom,
Mm-hmm.
then she come into estrus, cycle again, mate with another males again, fertilize again, and then pregnancy again. So in the wild, the average lifespan, I would say, if they can live for like 13, 14, or 15 years old, that is considered as long. Not the
Right.
28 years old that you read. I don't know why. I
Right.
don't know
Of
who
course.
wrote the 28 years in the wild. We don't,
Right.
no evidence, But from
Right.
my study, I do have some evidence that if they can live up to like 12, 13 years, that is considered as very long. Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you do the math, one female, if
Yeah, that's
she
maybe like two babies in her
yeah, two or
lifetime.
three babies.
Right.
And then twin has been reported, but I doubt that both twins can be
Right.
successfully
Survive.
raised into adulthood because it's extremely costly
Sure.
for the mother to raise a cub.
Sure.
And then you need to know that the forest productivity is very low. The forests in Borneo, Sumatra, and West Malaysia do not fruit in an annual cycle. They fruit in a
Oh,
supra-annual cycle. This is something that is very different from the neotropic, the Amazon rainforest, or the Central
sure.
African Congo rainforest, or other parts of Southeast Asia. The
Right.
forests do not fruit in an annual cycle.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What does that mean, superannual? I don't know what that means.
Superannual is more than 1 year. So, say for example, this year the forest fruited,
Next
flowering
year.
and fruits. The next flowering or fruiting years can be 4 years,
Oh
six
my
years, or
God.
11 years from this year. So in between, it is green and lush, but
Right.
no flowers,
No,
no fruits. This
the plants aren't
phenomenon
really
is called,
producing.
this phenomenon is called mass fruiting, and
So
Wow.
they have to
only
find those
happen in a tropical forest in Borneo, Sumatra, and West Malaysia. These three places only.
Wow.
so they have to find alternative food sources.
Yes, they only have to find alternative food source, which is termites, ants, beetle, all the invertebrates, all the things that are alive in the forest, tiny,
Yeah.
Right.
minuscule food items. And
Right.
then those minuscule food items, hardy can fill up their belly, so to speak. The only food that they can fill up their belly is fruits. So
Right.
once they found a fruiting fig tree, for example. Fig tree do not follow this mass fruiting, and then they would gorge themselves. They would eat and eat, stay, pull, sleep,
Right.
eat, pull, sleep until that fruit resources depleted.
Right.
Then
Got to
they
get
move
while the
on.
getting's good.
Yeah, and then they move on, and in between they look for invertebrates until they find another fruiting fig trees. And then
Right.
during the mass fruiting years is happy years for everybody. It's more than enough. It's a year of abundance. It's like going to all you can eat, satisfaction guarantee
Buffet.
buffet.
Right. Golden Corral.
Yeah,
Very
Golden Corral. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So there I was reading, and this is probably wrong too, that their little crescent or their little patch, it's called a baby bib. Is that just an Americanized thing? Or what do you call it in Malaysia? How do you guys refer to
Yeah,
that?
it's called chest patch.
Chest okay.
Yeah, chest patch. Okay, yeah, it is like baby bibs, Yeah, and then the
Okay.
chest patch is unique. There's no
Right.
two bears have the same kind of chest patch, so it
Okay.
is like our fingerprints. No two bears have the same chest patch. Yeah,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
then the reason I mean, the chest patch. I think by observing sun bears for so many years, I think the chest patch have a function. What
Okay.
function? As a warning sign, because they are black in
Oh,
color. The forest is very dense, they're very dark, and then they
right.
are sleeping on the ground, moving all the times, and then they hardly being seen. And then
Right.
when they sense something strange, or they sense something danger, or potentially weird object in the forest, they would immediately stand up, raise their nose really high, and sniff the air really hard,
Oh,
at the
okay.
same time presented the chest patch. And
Okay.
immediately the bears are being seen, because the chest patch bright orange, have a
Right.
contrast color with the body black color.
Right.
So it is like a warning. A lot of in animal kingdom, a lot of animal do that when they are threatened, or they want to
Right.
be
They make
seen.
themselves big
Yeah,
or
they
right.
flesh out whatever, color
Mhm.
patterns or eyes or whatever, to get their attention. And then
Right.
this is to avoid confrontation. This is avoid
Sure. Right. Like stay over there.
violent. Yeah, stay
Right.
over there. Hey, I'm here. I'm nasty. Don't mess around with
Right.
me.
Right. This
Because
is my
I'm big.
space.
Yeah,
Go
this is
away.
my space. Yeah, because
Wong,
if an animal,
oops,
yeah,
excuse me,
yes,
sorry.
if an animal engage on any kind of physical confrontation, there's a risk of being injured or even get killed.
Of
You don't
course, right.
expect.
And then no thanks. Yeah.
Has a bear ever swiped you with their paw?
Luckily, no. Only the
Oh,
little cubs when they are doing play fight.
yeah,
Right.
Yes, yeah. And if you can see, sun bears' claw are massive.
Yeah, how
yes,
long are their
yes.
And
claws? I mean, they're like the ratio of like claw to paw. I mean, they seem like bigger than a black bear, grizzly bear's claws, just like relative
grizzly
to their
bears,
size.
yes, yeah, they are relatively size. I think their claw has the biggest ratio, to
Yeah,
other
I
bears.
mean,
Yeah,
they're huge. I mean, are they
huge.
like a couple 4 or 5 inches long, or longer than
Not 4 or
that?
5, 3 inches long, but 3 inches long for
That's still
a
long,
like, it's
right?
almost,
For a
yeah.
60-pound bear,
So
that's a
do
lot of
they
claw.
do they need like a scratching post like a cat, or do they not scratch it?
No, actually, they don't need to stretch because they climbs every day, and
Right.
the process of climbing is actually the process of stretching.
Okay.
And then
Right.
the claw, not only sharp and pointy, is curved, and then inside there is a piece of bones called claw bones, and it is attached to very strong tendon and muscle at the very last digits. So it
Okay.
means that when the bears, kind of do this contractions of the
Right.
digits, the claw literally lock themselves
Right.
on the tree bark, and then they just walk up straight like that. I'm not sure whether you have seen sun bears climbing. You go to my Instagram or our social media, you'll see a lot of
Hmm.
bears
Oh, we are
climbing
definitely
every
following
day.
your Instagram.
They just climb up, effortless, just like that. Very, very easy. Looks very, very easy, but
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they
kids,
shoot up there.
How
yeah,
much
and
did
kids don't do this at home.
Yeah,
how much
no,
did Luna weigh when she was born? Luna's a
she's so
girl.
cute.
Yeah, Luna was when she was, well, when we got her, she was she was 350 grams, and then that was the 8 days of her life, and then so when she was born, we backtracked maybe a little bit more than 300 grams. just like a little kitten.
She's like 10 ounces. Jeez.
Yeah,
Only 10 ounces. Can you believe that?
Grams, hold on.
tiny.
I
300
just looked it up.
grams?
It's
It's
10
300
ounces.
grams. Yeah, 300 grams is what is.
10
Yeah,
ounces about.
10 ounces. Okay.
Jeez, not even a full
Two,
pound.
Yeah, no. Definitely not a full pound. Yeah.
Teeny.
10.
Oh.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so obviously their biggest predators and threats are obviously humans. I mean, unfortunately, that's every animal's biggest predator and threat is humans. And then, also the deforestation. And so I didn't realize how bad the palm oil industry and I forget the other industry that are just, causing their habitat to disappear and many other animals. But that's come up quite a few times on our show. The palm oil industry is a big no for any forested animal. It's a big no. And then, of course, due to their size, they're such high ticket items in the illegal pet trade, which also comes up all the time on our show. It's just, like with its red pandas, coatamundis, kinkajous, and it's just like we're constantly reiterating, like, just because they're cute and little, it's still a wild animal. It's like a kinkajou can mess up your your face in your house. A sun bear, at the end of the day, it's still a bear. Yes, it's cute in the size of a Rottweiler, but it's a bear. So how many of your bears, I was looking at their little profiles, which by the way, guys, go on their website. Each bear has its own profile. It's adorable. You can read all about it, learn where they're rescued from. The one that really stuck with me was Panda. The one that was thought that she was a panda, which, I mean, if you've ever seen a panda before, you would know. I've never seen an all black panda, but with a beige face. But yeah, so are most of your rescues from the illegal pet trade or from these small bullshit zoos or whatever? And then how do you guys go about rescuing them? Do people drop a hint? Like, is there a tip line, or does the government say hey, this is an illegal operation, go get the bears? Or is it both?
All of the above, I would say.
Okay.
Obviously, sun bears is a protected species in Malaysia. You're not allowed to keep sun bear as pets. However, the law that come to protect sun bear was relatively new.
Okay.
So it was like, say, the one in Sabah was passed in 1997. So
wow.
1 year before I came to I came to Sabah. So before that, no law, everybody can keep a sun bear. No bother. Yeah. And then so at the times when I was in Sabah, and then there are people keep bears in their home. There were bears that was kept in this roadside zoos or mini zoos or crocodile farm, or any recreation area or recreation place in order to attract crowd. Yeah, because at the times logging is at its peak. And then, and then there are people. Means logging at its peak means that there are a lot of people working in the forest to clear forest. So during the daytime, they do their logging operations. At nighttime, they hunt, or they poach. So they will not hesitate to pull a trigger when they come across a female with cubs, or when they set snares. When a mom got caught on the snares are not discriminate.
No, they're not.
From elephant,
anything
rhinos,
can get caught.
Sun bears, wild boar, guinea pigs, they all can get caught. And then if a mother bears get caught, the cub is just hanging around.
Right. Mother, just kind of what are we leaving? What's going on?
Yeah.
How much is a sun bear worth? I mean, not that I'm trying to buy one, but what's their monetary value? I can't imagine that they're a cheap animal.
No, not cheap at all. So for the one that I have deal with, one baby cub is selling for 10,000 ringgit.
Okay.
Yeah, 10,000 ringgit means $2,500. It's not a lot.
Okay.
But if you think of it is 10 times the minimum wages over here, then you see that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'm sure if they find a good buyer and people are willing to pay more. And once people pay more, means that the market value go up. Yeah. And then the poachers, realize that, this
I can make money off this.
Can make a lot of money. Then they will go and catch the very last one. If they will think, if I do not go and catch the very last one, my neighbor, my friend will caught them, and then they will become rich and I remain poor. It is always this kind of psychology. So at the end, it drives the whole black markets or illegal
Right.
wildlife it's become a very, very serious issue.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to get back to Luna for a second because I didn't know that Luna was in distress. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
And because
Yes,
I'm
tell us
sure it
Luna's
was
story.
uh, having to take her away from her mother, it was
Mhm.
agonizing. I'm sure that was very agonizing. But give us the
Yeah.
Luna story.
Yeah, so Luna was an accident birth. Okay, we do not expect Bintang pregnant and then give birth until that day where she dropped the little cup, and then the whole bear house we have like very loud
Right.
squeaking
Everyone's making
call
noise.
morning, and then then we saw, oh, Bintang have this newborn baby, and she was a great mom. I have to say, she was attaining the baby all the
Hmm.
times, she don't even like leave the cups for one step away from the baby, and then Luna actually was, I would say, a good baby as well, because once she feel any uncomfort or moms are not around, she would cry very
Right.
loudly, and then Luna, not even cannot even drink water. The Bintang, the mother, and then on the eighth day morning, then we saw, hey, Luna's activities dropped. She become very
Right.
inactive. Not like the few days
Not
before
a
or the
normal
previous
cub.
day. Not a normal cup, and then we feel like, hey, something went wrong, and we have to. I said, I talked to my vet, and then I said we need to go and check,
Intervene.
and then luckily we managed to separate Bintang, the mother, and then we went and checked, and immediately we noticed something wrong. First, the body temperature was already cold.
Eek.
It's already cold, lifeless already. Activity drops, and then both ear gone. There's no ear, no outer ear, and then the tail, no tail. Only like pink color pus coming out. Apparently, the mother
Oh no.
overlick the ear, both
Right.
ear gone, overlick the butt, the tail gone, and then the umbilical cord also have pus coming out. So
Oh,
so so she is definitely infected. Okay,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, she's got a raging infection.
Yeah, great infection. And then, but usually infection you get like higher body temperature, but
Right. Yeah, usually because your body's trying
oh,
to fight it
means
off.
that she
Eek.
already passed the
Right.
fever
Point of
stage,
no
and
return. Right.
going down until like if
Right.
she reached like 33 or 34 or 32, then she will die. So we immediately remove her, and it was a hard decision. We know that once we remove her, there's no turning back. Okay, obviously she need to be nursed, she need to be cared for, intensive care to save her life. And then so we pull her, and then we start to like put heat lamps, oxygens, and luckily the Luna's urge for suckling is still very strong. The stimulants of
Okay.
suckling still very strong, so we managed to get milk, although not bear's milk, but the puppy, the puppy, dog puppy formula. And then
Hmm.
after that we switched to goat milk formula, and then she suckled, she got the milk. And then that first night was actually very, very crucial. I was telling that we may
Sure.
lost Luna just like that, because it was really, really critical. The body temperature drops, and then thanks to our vet and also our teams that literally 24 hours take care of her 24 hours over the first month or 2 months, 24 hours. There are always people looking her, nurse her, make sure that she's well. And then another thing is that all of the baby infants mammal have to be palpated to in order to stimulate urinations and defecation. So that is a lot of
Oh.
work as well. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So
Wow.
so yeah, because the reason why, because the infant needs stimulants to defecate and urinate is because the mom want to keep the den site clean, so she have to lick up all the urine and also the feces, and then that stimulate, hey baby, it's time to pee. They don't wear diaper,
Right.
that's for sure. Not like humans baby, they just poo just like that. Yeah. But for the infant, actually squirrel the same thing. I raise baby squirrels. They, cats, dogs, puppy, you name it. All most of the mammals are like that. Yeah. So a lot of work has been devoted to literally save the life of Luna. And then
Wow.
and she was stable after 1 month. Then we start to announce it. Oh, we got a baby and he's a girl. Yeah, to the
How
world.
is Luna doing now? Is she
Oh,
okay?
she's doing great now. She's almost she's more than 5 months now, and then right now she's 8 kilograms now.
How about
Oh,
her
okay.
ears? Did they
The
Are
didn't
they
grow
ears,
back?
no ear.
gone?
Sorry, no ear, just a hole. Yeah,
Yeah.
just two. So Luna is the only sun bear in the world without ears.
So
Very
why do you think the mom did that? Was the mom trying to stimulate her or something?
No,
no, I
she.
think I
Yeah.
think the moms is like over care.
Oh, yeah,
Inexperienced mom. If you do something too excessive, too much,
yes,
then it become damage. And then
right,
imagine that
Right.
the process of leaking also involves saliva,
yes,
moisture, and then if you keep certain spots, especially the ear, the tail, or the umbilical cord moist, then the skin or the tissue becomes so fragile, and more leaking would literally damage or literally eat up that tissue until the 2 years gone.
Well,
Oh.
we have to say you're doing some great work there, and thank you so
Yeah.
much. And I don't know if we're ever going to get to Malaysia, but I would love to see your facility.
Yeah.
Um,
We
Please,
I,
would.
if the world is safe to travel again, please come. You have to
yes,
come and
Yes.
experience it.
We would
it looks
love
like you
to.
have
Oh
some
my
lovely
gosh.
beaches as well. Is that uh,
Absolutely. If you are
Oh yeah.
divers, so we have like crystal clear water. If you're not a
Yeah.
diver, it's fine. Do snorkeling.
Snorkel.
yeah,
It's equally fun. It's equally, yeah,
right?
it's paradise. Period.
So, what was the craziest rescue you've been on before we wrap up here?
Oh, actually, every single rescue are unique.
Okay.
And then yeah, when we rescued Amako, it was quite bad. He was on a small cage for 18 years in oil palm plantation.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was, all of them is crazy. And then we got Bear's Cup that was like say, last year we have Bottom was a crazy case because she was kept in a bird cage. And at
How does
first,
she even fit in a
yeah,
bird cage?
because she was tiny, and she was
Oh.
always kept in a bird cage, and then seriously malnourished to a point she cannot grow. And then
Oh.
at the times we thought it was only like maybe she was maybe like 1 and 1.5 months old. But when we look at the teeth and the claw is long and long, it is not like 1.5 months old or 2 months old. From the size, it is 1.5 months, 2 months old. From the claws, it's big. Canines is big. And then we managed to contact the previous owner. She was 4 months old. 4 months old bear cub supposed to weigh like 8 kilograms. All right. And then she weighed 1.4 or something like that. She's
Oh my.
so little. Yeah. At one point we thought she's not gonna make it.
Right.
But after that, we spent a lot of effort try to raise her and then managed to get her back to normal. Yeah, right now she seems normal, but although the size is a little bit small. Yeah,
Right. She'll kind of forever stunted, obviously. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, if you.
yeah, we have bears that forever stunted like Mary. Yeah,
Right. Right. And I've seen that. Yeah, some of the bears, unfortunately, you can see like their face is a little disfigured, or their feet, or you can just tell like they were not in a good place. The poor things. And I'm sure, Wong, you want to reiterate this too, but sun bears cannot be tamed or domesticated, and they are not pets. Every animal just belongs out in the wild where it needs to be and where it should be. I mean, who wouldn't love a pet sun bear? But the reality is, they're not pets. It's
yeah,
No.
just
absolutely.
So,
it's and that
Wong,
I was reading too that they get grumpy and like bad tempered as they get older. Is that true?
Yeah,
When
they
people try to
can
keep them
be
as
they can
pets?
be get bad tempo. Especially during feeding time. We have bears that got very bad temper to a point if they were fed last or not the first, they will get pissed off. So it was
Right.
quite annoying to have that kind of bears.
I want to say
Right.
this to you, Wong, Shishi.
Well,
谢谢你.
What does that mean?
Thank
It
you
means
in Mandarin.
right.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
This is thank you.
that's not Malay.
Wow. Okay.
Malay is terima kasih.
Oh, don't even
Oh,
try.
see, I was looking at something on Google here.
How did you mess that up? How did you get Mandarin at from?
Well,
Wow. You
because it
don't
says what language is
tip.
spoken in Malaysia, and it says Holdify, officially known as the Bahasa
Bahasa.
Malaysia.
Yes.
Yeah, Malay is the official language, spoken by 80%. So, do all three countries speak Malay, or do they speak separate languages?
Yes. So Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia, they all speak Malay. You know, most of the majority of the people here is Malay. So Malay language is shared among the three countries. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but for Malaysia, you know, we used to be a ex-British colony.
Right.
So British left us with good English education.
Yes.
So this is something
Proper
that,
English.
yeah,
Yeah,
proper
the
English.
Queen's
Yeah,
English.
With British accents. You know, how are you?
Yes. Yeah.
My name is Harry. Good morning. I'm Harry Potter. Yeah, something like that.
Yes. Yes. Wong, you are amazing. So, what can we do to help your rescue rehabilitation? Go ahead, plug the rescue, Wong. What can our listeners do to help?
Okay, I always tell people do what you do best to help us. You think about it. If you are a broadcaster, just like what you're doing right now, tell the story. You are helping us.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you are bloggers, if you are a writer, write a book about us. If you are an artist, you know, paint a sun bears or something like that. If you're a filmmaker, make a film out of sun bears and things like that. Do what you do best. And then for others, for us, we always needs money in order to
Right.
run our facility. So you can donate to our center. You can visit our website at www.bsbcc.org.my, or you can adopt our bears, or you can, I'm not sure, right now the shipping cost to America is so expensive.
Right.
Hopefully one day it will go down, and then you can purchase our merchandise. You
Right.
can follow us on Facebook, on our social media, subscribe to our YouTube channels, and then help us spread the words. That is not going to cost you. You know, just a
Right.
click of your finger, you can help us a lot of work, because sun bear is still the least known bear in the world. And then for me as a biologist or conservationist, I can do my part as a biologist and conservationist, but I cannot do all. You know, my
No,
story need to be told. So
of
if you
course.
help share our story, you are doing us a great help. Thank you so much.
That's fantastic.
All
Oh,
right.
of course. No,
How
we're
about this
happy to
one?
share your story, and I hope we get to come visit someday.
Yes,
Terima
absolutely.
Terima
Here we go.
Kashi.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
terima kasih. Yes, terima kasih.
All right. There we
What
go.
did? You're not speaking Mandarin
Hey,
anymore?
No, I'm speaking Malay now.
all right.
Terima kasih.
Well, thank you so much, Wong. Follow Wong
Thank you.
on Instagram. Follow the Conservation Center on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Send us an email. If you have any questions for Wong, feel free to reach out to us and we'll get those answered, or reach out to him directly. We all hope that we can one day go visit the center. And thank you as always for listening.
Thank you,
All
Wong.
right.
Alrighty, we're going to sign off
Yep.
here.
Thank
Thank
you,
you again,
everybody.
Wong.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank